Good morning, Trade Pros. Welcome to the morning market update today. It is Tuesday, December 2nd. I'm just trying to adjust the camera and stuff. I always turn my back to the screen. It's probably not the most ideal streaming setup, but it kind of like markets. You're never going to get to deal with ideal. So why stress myself out over stuff like that? All right. On to today's morning market update. We're going to kick it off. So equities are a little bit firmer here in the morning. Europe is firmer. U.S. futures slightly green. S&P up 0.2%, NQ up 0.4, and Russell up 0.6 point. Dollar's flat. 10-year yield the same at 4.08, and gold is pulling back after losing the 4,200 level. Copper is softer today. But recently copper's been a big story. Post Thanksgiving, spreads are blowing out in U.S. and London side, meaning there's a lot of demand for the physical metal, and traders are rushing in to bring copper into the United States as quickly as possible to front run any potential tariff implications. That's a market that's been really hot. If there's a market you want to see, check out copper futures. Oh my gosh! All right. Bitcoin is steady near 86,000 after, just the plunge team must have stepped in to protect it. The PPT that we call it, the plunge protection team. I don't know if it exists in Bitcoin, but it really was a real function of the government, the plunge protection team, to provide support to the equity market on the open market operation. So it's an interesting part of history in the United States. A lot of people don't kind of know or slip on. I don't know if they still exist, the PPT, but we always say it's the PPT's fault. They're a good scapegoat for us when a trade doesn't work out. It's a joke, obviously. But they did exist. That part's not a joke. All right, no major econ news on the docket today, which is great. We get, the full runway to work with on the market. Top story today in the AI arm race is, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. He says code red inside the company is issued based on rising threat from Google's Gemini. And just in general, in AI, he wants to get more competitive. Sam Altman said that the code red is to improve ChatGPT's speed, which I agree is kind of needed. But then again, it's doing some crazy stuff. How fast do you want it to be? It's doing things that you couldn't do that quickly. So I'd be critical of it. But no, that's human nature. All right, they also want more reliability and personalization options for it. And OpenAI has effectively delayed other projects to improve ChatGPT quality at the moment. All right. Google's Gemini 3 just beat out ChatGPT in benchmark tests and now has 650 million monthly users, while ChatGPT is leading with 800 million monthly users, but the gap is kind of narrowing. All right, so that there could kind of put a little bit of stress on tech this morning. Overall, is it going to impact the stock valuations and prices? Maybe the market gets a little bit of jitters, but this is not really new information. It's just newly highlighted information, and it's interesting about the code red. That part of it is new, so that could be an implication for tech. Watch it off the opening bell. That's going to be what I watched today for a correlatory leader early on in the session, and those charts are at the very top, I think. That's just one chart. They should be on the very top. I'll show you in a second. All right, on the macro and Fed front, markets are expecting a dovish tone into next week's Fed meeting, so that's really good. And according to the Wall Street Journal, at least, Donald Trump appears to be favoring Kevin Hassett, officially NEC chair, to actually be the Fed chair coming up, which means softer policy, more dovishness, more accommodative stance from the Fed towards the market, lower interest rates. It's a market positive if this is the case. All right, Wall Street Journal printed that story, caught a little bit of buzz in the market, and that's something that we're looking forward to or looking into further. The key headlines here in the United States: Trump is going to make a huge announcement today at 2 p.m. Eastern. Watch out for that. Traders are watching for Fed or policy headlines, or it would be probably too premature or early, or maybe something on the Ukraine-Russia situation. I think if there's a peace deal that's brokered or executed, I really think the markets like it. I think it finds a way to rally at least a little bit. All right, but it's good overall. It's for the good of everybody. I think we could all agree on that without getting too political. I'm very careful about politics on this channel. It was hard to steer away from those things. 2 years ago when I left. Now it's even harder. Things have gotten even more tense. And I will say this, we're all the same. We're humans. We all care about the same stuff. We love each other, believe it or not. I love you. And yeah, I'm going to steer clear of it. I'm not going to make too much opinion based on that unless it impacts the market. And then the opinion is going to be market based. All right. Apple's pushing back on India's new cyber safety app requirement. Some regulatory friction there. And the last thing is Bowman says that finishing Basel III is a top priority in the banking sector. Okay, the takeaway here for traders today is it's a quiet morning, yes, but tech and AI leadership are in focus with OpenAI's Code Red. The Code Red has been issued within the walls of OpenAI's business and their headquarters. We wonder if this Code Red applies to all of tech and all of AI, and it kind of reheats the discussion about the AI bubble. All right, is it relevant today? No, but keep an update on that. And if traders do start selling AI and tech names this morning, then you're going to see it first in the tech sector, and then that's going to spill over into the broad market. So I'm watching that closely, and I'm going to start with the top screen being put on the Mag 7, top 10 S&P 500 constituents, and the AI view. Let me turn around, okay? I'm going to spin the share around and open up the screen share component, and we are going to talk to each other about cool things. All right, so that's not good. None of this moved. No. All right, well, I moved something, and then it's a bummer. Hold on. I kind of remembered it. Anyways, just give me a second, okay? We're going to just clean this up a little. I moved something, and then you know what happened? I had to reset Sierra because it got a little bit annoying. And then I lost the stuff that I moved, so I'm going to just move it really quickly because I remember there. All right, so 67.50, I believe it was. All right, and the last one was 67, whatever. I'm going to leave that one because that's really far below. Okay, so here's where we're at. Okay, biggest resistance right now, 68.80. That is on the options front. So this is the one up here. And then the one closest is 68.50-ish to 68.60. That's two different option walls that are present. On the support side, 67.95 is where the biggest support is at, which means we're kind of boxed into a 50-point range here. And that's fine. 50-point range is more than enough for us to operate within to have a good day, all right? And then 67.55 is another level onto the downside. I'm going to just narrow it a little bit to suggest a smaller support level. All right, that's kind of the longer term picture. You're also seeing long term. You saw this marked and decisive shift in the trend structure. We are now fully onward bullish. We had lower lows, lower highs, which then converted above 67.80 in the last 2 US days above that level, and we now have a new higher high structure. Ultimately, breaking 6,900 would be the biggest bull signal, and it would run towards prior highs and all-time highs at that point. And we're in a level where we're starting to see, and this was the message in yesterday's morning market update, we're starting to see a little bit of resistance because 68.80 is going to be a hard level to crack because, we got a lot of options activity like we just talked about, but also it's the kind of the prior high that led to this giant spill. All right, I mean, if you look at it, 68.80, 65.20, it's 350 point move lower on the ES, and that's troublesome. But we regained that loss faster than we lost it. It took more days to find this downside than it did to recover it. That's a good sign. That's a bullish thing. And we want to be bullish today. The problem with being bullish today is that we're sort of into these resistances. And I think that even though the market may find its way higher throughout the day, I think it may pull back first. I think there might be weakness to buy into. So it would be early morning weakness set up into early afternoon to late afternoon strength is what we would be looking towards. What are some of the levels for us here on the S&P? Let me just clean up this chart a little bit for us because it's kind of too much going on for this one. All right, so you could see the biggest buying blocks here of yesterday were around the 36 down into the 20. This area chopped a lot. There's a lot of buyers holding here. That's their level. So this is the level that, must hold tonight. or today. Prior day's cash close was at 28. The open was at the 22. We only got 6 points of upside yesterday. We did have a lot of swing movement. We had a movement all the way up to the 55, back down, but ultimately we closed at the 28. So we huffed and we puffed and we advanced 6 big points. That's it. All right. So in today's session, it's do or drop, to be honest with you, because we're coming in here back to a resistance we failed at now, not once, all right, but twice. And the question is, what's going to happen here the third time? So for me, I would love to see the 36 to about the 27 retest for a go opportunity to the upside. That's going to be a long, so that's slight weakness in the open session. And anything here in this upper end before we break the like 68, 70 level, it's going to be tough to be long here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It might have to happen, but it's going to be based on a very strong order flow level that tells me, hey, look, there's a big buyer in the book. You know, they're exhausting and pressuring the auction to the buy side. Sellers are running away. Sell intention is pushing higher up the chart and further out. So up and out of the way. Buyers are pushing up and getting more aggressive. You know, you're getting some buy imbalances. Delta starting to shape up. If everything looks good, I'm actually probably even more afraid of the long. When trade looks the best, I'm more afraid of it. I'm been in this business long enough to tell you that it has to feel risky in order for it to be worth it. Still has to feel like you're not entirely sure. When you're not entirely sure, it's right. When everything looks too good, it often fails. That's the problem. Everything looks too good. Everything looks too bullish. It looks too easy. And that's when I get nervous. All right. So then if I'm going to have to buy it up here, I'm going to do it, but it's going to be on the right info. All right. So then the next play would be above the 68, above 70, curl back retest, long side. You have a lot more of a shot that way. All right. Even then, 68, 80 is just 10 points above. But this pullback and retrace to wherever the information is going to be, we'll find out. We don't know the level ahead of time. We see it in real time. That's one area for the long, but I would much rather see a pullback today's session. All right, so the 3 trades are this. Trade number 1 and my ideal preferred trade, 32 to about 24 on the ES. Pullback long opportunity. Okay, that's an upside trade. Trade number 2 is break and retest. Okay, that's going to be a nice little trade. The problem with trade 2 is you got to be patient. And I'm actually going to call that trade 3 because the problem with trade 3 is 2 is going to happen potentially first, and that's going to be a failed break. Everyone loads up. Everyone's buying, and their mother's cousins, uncles also long, and all the money's being spent, and we're huffing and we're puffing, and we get nothing. There's no upside. Well, you know what the next trade is. That's a short. Those are the 3 trades. Long off support structure below, short the resistance that we're currently in, and 3 buy the breakout. All right. Gabriel said, you called it, dude. That hedge is 500 mil up on its holiday shortened week trade, bidding up the market in a low environment. Hedge fund. Oh, yeah. It's funny how that works, right, Gabriel? It's like it was easy to bid it up. Remember that example that we used? We said, look, you have a $1 billion fund. It's easy to spend a couple mil to bid up the market in a low liquidity environment for Thanksgiving. And, you know, it's not illegal. You're spending your money, right? You're spending your money. You're bidding the market. You're window dressing it. And now you get to send a statement to your clients, Gabriel, saying, look, we did it. We owned the stocks that you wanted. We were bullish and the market was up and everything is whole in their book. But yeah, it worked out. And I'm happy to see it work out. That's usually a seasonal pattern. Gabriel, you can put that down in your book of seasonal patterns. And throughout the year, there's certain patterns that take hold and shape at certain times of year that have these kind of opportunities that don't always work out. I'll be honest with you, there's possibility for turkey season to go down, but the fears would have to be much greater than they are at the moment. And I was listening yesterday to a news channel, which I rarely do, but when I'm like cleaning or doing something in the house that's productive and not trading, I put the news pundits on just for fun. And one of the lady being interviewed said this to me, or not to me, but to the listeners. She didn't personally tell me this, but she said, you know what? They're talking about, is the market going to go to a new all-time high? She goes, you know what? The fact that the market has something to worry about is great. She's like, I worry when there's nothing to worry about, right? The contrarian view. And I looked at it and I'm like, she's right. The market needs something to worry about. There's a market mechanism of just pricing things and it needs something to worry about. And so the whole reason I'm saying that is there isn't like a whole bunch of stuff to worry about where it's it's scary. We were kind of heading into Thanksgiving, coming off of pressure from AI. So that was also the little bit of the driver to the upside. But yeah, that trade worked out. That's a nice seasonality trade. Thank you for bringing that up. David, hello, Mikey. See you in the room, brother. You're on board. That's amazing. Say hi in there. I wanna say what up to you. Marco, what's up? King Kong Theory. Good morning, sir. You guys are the best. I love you guys. That's the trading situation. Those are the three things I'm looking at. I know it's quite a pullback from the 49 to the 36, but then it happens and it works. And you're like, oh, hey, it wasn't really that much at all. I see you draw and take the levels from the ES, but this morning the ES was respecting levels which were only to be seen on NQ. Do you use levels from NQ to transfer them over to ES? David, great question. I have two traders that do NQ in the room, and Vicky and Fatty. I do use NQ for correlation. So there are times when I'll notice, listen, NQ is a stronger market. And so then the question becomes, though, it's not as easy of a play, because you could say, hey, look, NASDAQ's strong. Does that mean S&P is weak, or does that mean NASDAQ is strong for the wrong reason? Do I short NASDAQ or do I long S&P? And this is the cue. Spread traders would do both. Spread traders love this kind of stuff, closing off these inefficiencies. But yeah, I do follow NASDAQ for correlation, mostly for in-position management. I'll tell you how I use it the most. I'm long the S&P 500. NASDAQ is going up. S&P isn't. All right? I'm like, okay, at least now we have a little bit sauce to the upside. Or the other way is, that gets me a little patient long trade. I'm long the S&P. NASDAQ's dropping. I'm starting to tighten the stop and getting a little bit worried on the S&P 500. Not worried, but more risk management focused than even questioning the trade. Sometimes that'll get me to scratch the trade. How much is NASDAQ gone down, etc. So yeah, I don't overlay levels from NQ to ES, but it is an important instrument that I follow very closely. And in addition to NASDAQ, I follow the Mag 7 within market sessions pretty closely for cues and direction. I hope that helps. Paul says, overnight held your 68.12 number from yesterday. Yeah, right. You see that? 68.12 was the level that we had kind of drawn from yesterday. Thank you for that, by the way. That's the one that we drew. We didn't get it really in the US session. We came close. But yeah, there's that number, 68.12. Paul, write down 68.15. That level has been an order flow level, and it's been clutch on the way down and all the way back up. Like, that level was in play from mid-November, and it's December now. So that's a level, 68.15. We saw a lot of really big orders there, and it just sticks in my mind as a level that it's kind of become a running joke. But yeah, thank you, sir, for bringing that up as well. That level held, and I think that level yesterday that we pointed out, this level today kind of becomes the do or die, must hold support, all right, for the market, below which I think we got a lot of sell stops. All right, that's the update, guys. I love you so much. I hope you've enjoyed it a lot. I've enjoyed it as well. Yesterday was a bit of a rough one for me. I woke up 3 minutes before having to do it. The update today, I gave myself ample time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Love you guys. Be good. Be well. I'll see you inside the trading room. And if you like this, hit the like button. Share it with a friend. I'm here to help you guys. And that's it. That's it. Over and out. We'll see you tomorrow. Trade well. Manage that risk. Trade like a TradePro. Take care. Goodbye. And thank you guys for interacting with me in the chat. It's always fun. Take care. Bye.